All right. Hey, everybody. Oh, look at that video. I love it. All right. We got a lot of people coming in here. As everyone's joining, we'll give everyone a couple minutes. We were about 2 minutes late here, so excited to have everybody join us today with Rob and Catherine and go over just get them to answer some questions about like how they're successful, what they can do to help you guys be successful, and two, just talk about what's made them successful and like hear their story. And I think that's one of the most entertaining and fun parts about being in this industry is everyone's so open about what they're doing that's working, that's helping them be successful, like what their story is from starting to truthfully like life-changing results in their business. So I'm really excited to dive in always on these as well. Looks like Elise just threw out our first poll question. Are you a current member of DealMachine? We always like to know who we're talking to. That helps us kind of shape the conversation, know, hey, if you're with DealMachine, are you driving for dollars? Are you using our list builder? What are you using with DealMachine so that we can kind of shape that conversation? We love converting some not yets and on the fences to yeps as a result of this as well. So appreciate all the replies there. Where's everyone coming in from too? If you have throw in comments and say where you're from, it's always good to know where people are across the country as well. Cool. St. Louis, Mississippi. St. Louis is my hometown. We got actually David and Dave, the two DealMachine co-founders, and myself and a few other employees now are from St. Louis originally. We're headquartered in Indianapolis. I saw Indianapolis in there. Atlanta, awesome. Rob and Catherine, remind me where you guys are from.
Where we originally from or where we currently live?
Both.
Both. So okay, so
we want it all the information.
All the info. I got you. Hey, listen, man, y'all, y'all an additional extended portion of the family, man. So you already know. From originally North Philadelphia. I'm from North Philadelphia. Catherine from Northeast Philadelphia.
Same thing. North Philly,
hey,
Northeast Philly.
Anybody in here know anything about Philly? They know it's a difference. It's
hey, it's transition, so it's all the same.
No,
Philly is where we're from, and we're currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been here 7 years.
ATL.
All right, awesome. I love it. It's been a little while since I've been there. I saw a couple of Atlantas in there actually as well. So I don't know if you guys know Rob and Catherine personally, but reach out. I'm sure there's things that you guys can be doing together there in Atlanta to help each other out and close deals together.
Somebody said West Philly. What's going on, West Philly? I see you. You know all about it. West Philly, South Philly, Southwest Philly.
They're all different Phillies.
I know all about it. Philly. That's it. From on the Rays. On the playground where I spend most of my days.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get going now. I know we started a little bit late, so don't want to take your whole evening or delay all the good information for everybody else. I guess just to get started, my name is Joshua Johnson. I run our elite teams at DealMachine, and so our elite DealMachine members are those who are trying to do 2+ deals a month consistently. Whether through our driving for dollars technology, through our list building technology, or leveraging some of the other tools that we'll talk about later at the end of this if you want to stick around a little bit. Rob and Catherine have been elite members of ours for a little while now. I don't know exactly how long, but they've been using us for a while and have had a lot of great success. And really, in the end, the heroes of DealMachine are the members that are having the success like they are. And it takes that like intensity and focus in their business to have that success. And we love highlighting those stories as best we can. And that's why we do these, to bring in that as motivation and examples, and just showing you here's what it takes to be successful. Because it's not all roses. Like there are difficult days, there are difficult challenges. And I love hearing how people overcome the difficult challenges, because some of the stuff's easy and some of it's really not. So I'll let them kind of take over, talk a little about themselves and their stories and why they do what they do. And then we'll go from there into some Q&A and get all the info out that you guys need.
Well, thank you, honey. Ladies first. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here with you guys. And this is like our third interview with DealMachine. So Thanks for having us again, Elise, and everyone else. We really appreciate it. My name is Cat Harris, and I am a real estate investor and originally from Philadelphia. And so we are in the real estate. We got into the real estate business because real estate is, we saw it as a way out, something we enjoy doing. And it just really provided and is providing stability for our family. So that was really our why. We went after real estate because it's such an awesome business. So yeah, that's just basically why we're doing what we're doing, because we like stability within our family.
That's it. That's it. Yep. Yep. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I mean, really nothing to add. I've always had a love for real estate, you know, since I was like 16, 17 years old. And I used to watch those, you know, flip your house, HGTV things and things like that. So it was just one of those things to where I just automatically had a connection with real estate. And I told my wife about teenagers. I was about 19 years old. And I said, listen, at the time, I told you a peek at the story. I said I was doing music. And I told her, I said, either I'm going to make it big with this music thing, or I'm going to make it big with real estate. But one of the two, I'm going to do it. And when I do it, I'm going to go all in. And I purchased my first investment property when I was 21 years old. And man, you know, we've been off to the races since. And like I said, man, a lot of mistakes made. I tell, you know, my team and, you know, people, you know, that I coach, you know, man, I made enough mistakes to last all of us a lifetime, right? So been doing this thing for a really long time now. So again, yeah, my wife, she been with me on every endeavor, you know, every business adventure. You know, my first
from the
business
valley to the mountaintop.
My first business was a water ice stand.
That's
my baby out there getting with me. So here we are now. We was flipping water ices, now we flipping houses.
That's
man,
right.
You know, so it's all
amen. Amen. It was all business. It was all love.
That's it.
Well, I gotta ask a little bit here. So what was the music career gonna be? What would you have pursued there? Had that been the result that you went for?
Yeah, I was doing writing music and doing rap, and Catherine was a singer. We actually met in the studio.
Oh wow!
Years ago. We met in the studio, man, and that's how she came to feature on a song that I had did, and yeah, man.
Yeah, we really didn't like each other at first.
Oh yeah, I couldn't stand him.
I couldn't stand him either, but you know how that goes.
Oh my gosh.
Opposites attract.
Yep. And yeah, we met in the studio, and I remember, man, I could not stand her.
You couldn't stand me.
No, I could.
Sorry, Catherine.
I had a little feist about me. I guess I was just a little too feisty, and he was used to like the girls, you know, that just, you know, do whatever and however he wanted them to do. So I was just a little too feisty for him. I think that's what it was.
I get it. It took some time to warm up to it.
Yeah, it took him some time.
We're gonna move on to the next
16
question.
years later.
Yeah, 16 years later, man, still going strong. Still going strong.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, I think that was a great introduction. Love hearing what just the story again, the background. It's always like super meaningful for me. I guess right before we get questions, and I don't know if people have started to ask questions yet. Let's get those rolling in so that we're ready to go. Elise and AJ will help us bring people in to actually do a live question, so you can ask us here on screen. And so get ready for that. If you ask a question, just note we try to give you a heads up. Sometimes it's not the easiest, so be ready to jump on camera and ask your question. It makes for a really good, engaging video, I think. But as we do that, I guess one question I have today, the types of transactions that you guys are focused on, what does the real estate business look like right now in terms of deal volumes over the last year, what you're on pace for this year, and the types of transactions that you're trying to go for?
We're focusing mainly, we're focusing on, you know, still the same thing. We flipping, we do flips. You know, still 80% of our business for the most part is wholesaling. We do a lot of wholesaling, hoteling, and we do creative financing. So we've really stepped our game up with the creative financing portion of our business because, you know, as you make more money, right? You know, Uncle Sam come to take more money. So
Right.
now we've trying to find out ways to keep more money in our pocket because it's like, you know, we wasn't focusing on, you know, 2, 3, which is focusing on getting as liquid as possible.
Mhm.
But we have pretty good stability now. So now we're focusing on, you know, zooming in and channeling in on that depreciation.
Yep.
And buying and holding these houses so we can get those write-offs. And of course, build our portfolio up, you know, for the long run and building up our retirement fund. You know, that's our retirement plan, you know, to have a certain amount of doors to where, you know, rather we, you know, 10 years from now, rather we work or decide not to work, we have that monthly cash flow coming in no matter what every month.
Right.
So that's what we're focusing on right now, is just building up that portfolio and keep that consistent cash flow coming in.
Awesome. I love it. That's really cool to see. Good to hear. So Elise, on your side, do we have any questions ready to roll here? We do. All right.
Come on.
So we got
First is David. I'm gonna box the end. I just invited you, so check your notifications.
all right, we got a thumbs up. Oh, we got David here.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm doing a flip right now, but my question was, so using DealMachine and stuff, how many properties would you say you guys add per week? And then what kind of marketing are you doing to those properties?
Well, we have drivers, right, that is supposed to add a certain amount of properties each day. So they're adding, you know, a little over 100 each day. Again, but every market is different, right? So we have to add a certain amount because of our market being is saturated. Man. You know what I mean? So yeah, our drivers add over 100
Per driver, or is that total?
per driver.
Per driver. Gotcha.
Yeah. What market you in?
I'm in Cincinnati.
Got you.
Yeah, I closed the deal with DealMachine last month, so it was pretty good. First one I did. Yeah.
Oh, there's a double. We can't hear you.
The numbers on that, I added about like 1,000 properties on my own, and then cold called all of them, and then got one deal out of that. So that's the kind of numbers that I did.
You cold called yourself?
Yeah, I used Mojo, the dialer. Yeah. So I had like a 3-line dialer, but yeah, I did call all those people.
That's up. You're grinding.
I mean, I love it.
Talking about.
Was it a wholesale for you, or is it the one that you're flipping right now?
It was a wholesale deal. Yeah, I got it for what was it? 90, and wholesaled it for 105.
Okay.
I made 13 on it. It was nice.
Nice. Probably 1,000 properties, skip trace call. So you're, I mean, time plus like a couple $100 in total cost there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We need you to get on a success call, David. So DM us on Instagram and I'll send you that link.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, pretty much our marketing is just, you know, we're cold calling. That's how we basically reach, you know, we upload our houses in the DealMachine and we have cold callers. We have people cold calling. So
that's awesome. I love
Awesome.
I think our best investors across the board, cold calling is probably, if not their number one, it's their number two most consistent source of leads. Right now, SMS is still kind of in that middle where it's still kind of around and existing on some platforms, but it's disappearing, and we don't really have stability in knowing what the channel is going to look like over the coming 6 months to a year. It's probably going to go away altogether, but we just don't know. And I think cold calling in some way, shape, or form will always be really great. And then because that's a great active medium too, where you start conversations now, you collect data on like when they might want to sell right away, so you can build a pipeline really aggressively. And then I love over time combining that with direct mail, where it's such a passive inbound focused marketing channel where, you know, if someone reaches out via direct mail, you're going to pay more per lead and more per deal most likely on that channel. but you'll at least you'll still acquire deals that make sense. And so ideally you're doing both for sure. But cold calling, I'm a huge fan of.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Did you assign it or did you double close it, David?
I signed it.
That was all you. No
Yes,
closing
sir.
costs came out of that.
Oh, wow.
My man, no attorney fees or nothing came out of that. That's smooth. Yeah,
Smooth.
that's
Nope.
if we do anything under 15K, we assign to. Yeah, so that was smooth, man.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel we got some people I know that they're like, you know what? I know people who've done 6-figure assignment fees, and they're just like, I'm gonna do they assign everything. And for me, the biggest thing comes down like, do you know who your buyer is? Like, you're gonna know if you've got a high level of trust, you don't have to worry about it. Where you could say like, call them out beforehand and be like, hey, you know what? We negotiated well on the front and the back end here. We had a lot of interested parties, and we're gonna make a big assignment fee. Do you care going into the closing if it's a bigger fee? And if they balk at all, you could kind of be like, okay, like, we'll just double sign.
Yeah, that's right. And the front is nightmare stories, man. I've known people too that had 6-figure deals in their hand.
Mhm.
And went to try to assign it, and the person seen that fee and was like, hold on, wait a minute, you making how much? And they pulled the plug.
That
on
couldn't be me. I would have to double close that. No way. I'm assigning that.
I feel you.
Right.
I'm in the same ballpark as you, my friend. I'm like, I don't even want to leave it to chance. Even if it's somebody that I've done a few different deals with, you know, we do pretty big deals.
Mhm.
Like our average deal was like anywhere, you know, around $17,000, right? So usually when it's over that mark, we do a lot of, make a long story short, we do a lot of double closing.
Okay.
Leave it to chance, man.
Yeah. I get it. I get it for sure. Do you guys, one thing I'm curious, do you guys add and sorry, we need to, I know I just jump in and talk a lot, but do you guys do any, add any of your own transaction fees to the closing invoice at closing? I know some people, wholesalers who do like 50 to 100 deals a year, they add 300-400 for a transaction fee on their transactions, and they make an extra couple $100,000 a year doing that.
Dang.
And they just add they add it as an item on the closing statements, and they just one guy I know is, I think he added 80 transactions this year so far, and they've had one person bring it up and they removed it for the one person. Other than that, it's gone unrecognized by everybody.
While they're assigning it or double closing?
While they're assigning, just an assignment, there's a transaction fee cost to it.
That's pretty smart right there.
Yeah, and it's small enough. It's like and it makes sense. Like you're hiring people, you're spending your time doing it. You should get paid on that part too. So, well, David, I really appreciate the question. You jumping in. I'm getting haggled by AJ and Elise to move on. But let's go on to the next question and make sure we're getting everybody in.
David.
Awesome, Elise. Who's coming in next?
Jose is on right now.
Jose. I love it.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I actually don't have a camera right now. The way I have my computer set up, it's way up here, my laptop, so there's no video.
You sound super clear though, Jose, like crisp. So you go right ahead.
What was it? I think my original question was, what was you guys' first deal? Like, how did you guys get that first deal, and how's that compared to what you do now?
Yep, you want to tell it?
Yeah, pretty much first deal, I would say it was literally the Holy Spirit that led us to this deal. And I have to say this because it's just the truth. Rob had a listing on this block in Venetian Hills. And him and we were going to check up on the house. We were going to check up on the contractors and stuff like that. And there was a house right across from it where, you know, the grass was, you know, growing, and, you could just tell that the property wasn't being taken care of. So we rode up to the property, and I'm looking at the property, and I'm like, what is this house right here? And it's literally, that's exactly how I was. I was like, what is this house right here? And I looked at it, he looked at it, Rob looked at it, he's like,
I wasn't paying it.
what is she? It's a house. He went on to do his business and went into the, house to his corner contractors. And I was like, I told him when he got back to the car, I said, you know what? I just heard in my heart, like, this is your first investment property.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Rob, I was like, this is our first investment property.
She did.
And he was like, what are you talking about? So this lady comes right outside of her house, the next door neighbor, and she's like, hey, come here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. So I walked over, her and I, we start conversating. She's like, you want this house right here? You want this house? She's like, because I'm tired of the grass. They don't take care of the grass. I know the owners. I know the owners' kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you want their phone number? And she was like, I was like, sure. So she gave us the number, and Rob wound up reaching out to the children of the owner, and he wound up.
It was a probate. It was a probate. Long story short, it was a probate. They had just took it through probate. I called I got a order. The brother and the daughter was in control of everything. Man, we closed on it like 3 weeks later, made over $30,000 on that deal, man. And that's what got it sparking. Yep, that's what got it sparking.
That's what got it
it wasn't
sparked
no
up.
driving for dollars. If anything, we was walking for dollars. If anything, we were just so happy. Man, we're just spiritually led. Man, my Catherine really is telling the truth. She was like, it's on my heart. I feel it in my spirit. Like, this is going to be our property. She told me that. I was like, girl, what are you talking about? And then the lady came right out and was like, come here, let me talk to you.
Right.
And
gave us the information, just like that. So
Yep,
it was like old school. You know what I mean? It was like old school door knocking type
that's
stuff.
how we got started.
But what I will say is that's when the light bulb went off in our head, and we were like, real estate commission or this wholesale?
30,000 for a wholesale.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This 6,000 for all this work we're getting ready to do for this listing, or this close to 30,000 we're going to do on this quick 7 to 10 day transaction.
Yeah, and you didn't have to waste all that time to get a real estate license.
Well, we're both licensed.
Yeah, but
okay.
we were licensed agents, but however, I wouldn't have needed my license to do that transaction.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think one thing to add to that, just as a heads up for everybody, I think the trends across the country is it's very likely in the next 2 to 3 years, a lot more states will require a agent license to do wholesaling. Illinois is already that way. Indiana's on the way. Oklahoma's on the way, and more will follow that. So it also gives you the advantage of more dispositions opportunities, more ways to handle a lead that you get from your marketing. And I'm sure Rob and Catherine can speak to that better than I can. But I just want to point that out, it shouldn't be viewed as the enemy or something never to do. I agree, you can get to it faster without having to do it. But it's another tool in the belt to use appropriately. And so just a heads up, because that might be something you have to do anyways. So you may get ahead of the game by doing it earlier.
Okay, that makes sense.
Totally agree. Yep, everything you said is 110% correct. Everything Josh just said. So yeah, man, a lot of states are definitely headed in that direction for sure. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a bonus if anything. Yeah. And like he said, when you're talking to these people on the phone, we utilize that as one of our exit strategies. So we offer, like he said, more tools within your tool belt, right? So if you have a list, if you have a license, you can actually, if it's, let's just say they want retail for that particular property, you can list it. You know, it's something that you can't wholesale, can't hotel, can't flip it. You know, you can list it.
100%. I love it.
Yep.
I love some of our best examples are people who are brokers as well as wholesalers. So that's awesome. Well, Jose, I appreciate the questions. Love that. I love inspirational stories in terms of getting down to like, how did you start? Because that's where, especially in this meeting, where a lot of people are. We're just starting. Maybe they're a deal or two in. And so it's so important. Elise, do we have the next person up for questions?
Yes, we have Travis.
All right. At least next time we hear that bell, we got to hear it ring. You were muted when you were
I don't know if you want to hear it. I just scared my dogs. It's really, I have 2 of them and they're cowbells. Okay. Travis, I tried to unmute you. We can't hear you, just so you know. Let me, oh, no. I've got 2 Travises on here. Maybe I got another one.
Got a Travis Overbay in.
All right. I am going to ask Travis this question for him. And if he happens to get on, Travis, you can definitely talk. But Travis's question was, what did your schedule look like when you started making deals? How much time did you spend per week? And when did you do it? How did you break up? And then how did you break up tasks? Oh, there's Travis.
We got him here. We got this video.
I'm sorry. I made it complicated because I was on my computer because I don't have a microphone on my computer. So I'm on my phone as well. And I'm talking to you through my phone now. Sorry.
Here,
Thanks.
it's automatic.
Sure. Ask the question. Did you guys have any questions you want me to ask it again?
Yeah, ask it again. I love your any other touch you could put on it.
Okay, great. You know, I'm working a very demanding job and just kind of really curious how it looks, how your success looked for your schedule, how much time you put in to actually make deals, and maybe what the 2 of you broke up for tasks, because my wife would like to get involved. She's scared, but nonetheless, she would like to get involved. And we're looking for kind of tips on how you scheduled it and how you got it done.
Yeah, true to the matter is, Travis, we hit the ground running because a lot of people don't know our story. Like, we were in a tight position, like we were dead broke. So when we came to Atlanta, Catherine and I ended up living in a hotel, man. Long story short, like the house we were supposed to be living in ended up falling through. So we had to go to a hotel, and we had 4 boys, you know, so we're living out of a hotel literally with our 4 kids. So I put the pedal to the metal and I was grinding every day on the phones every day. Now, before I left Philadelphia, I had a contracting business, and the plan was to come back out here and basically open back up my contracting business here. Ran into some problems there, and I already had my real estate license. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go full-fledged with the real estate. So I did what I knew to do, and that was to pick up the phone and make calls.
The
And I
schedule
did that
was
till I got
that
my first deal.
there was no other, we really had no other exit
Okay.
strategy. So
Yeah.
it was like, we didn't really have a schedule to where he was cold calling all day.
All day.
Okay.
I literally wouldn't put down that phone until I had an appointment. No exaggeration. Like, it was either swim or drown. I was in the middle of the water. I was in the middle of the ocean. It was no going back, right? I was either going to get to the other side or I was going to drown. And that's just how it really was, man. And that's how I felt. And it's one thing for me as a man to be stuck in that position, man, but to see my family, you know, in the tight situation that we was in, I had to do everything in my power to get us out.
Yeah.
So-
And as far as like our tasks and how we break them up,
Mhm.
I handle a lot of the events.
Yeah.
I pull data. I manage our VAs, our team members, their schedules.
Yeah. Skip tracing.
I handle the skip tracing, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of like the emails and things, a
Data.
lot of the administrative back end stuff I handle.
Yeah, the data analysis, you know, things like that. She handles all that. You know, she makes sure that the VAs is doing what they're supposed to do, right? So she's watching them and making sure they on there making their calls and things of that nature. So she handles all that.
And you pretty much handle a lot of, Rob handles a lot of the training.
Yeah, all the coaching. Yeah.
Mhm.
I keep my eyes on the KPI, so I'm always staring at my numbers, right? Because the numbers, real estate is a number game, right? The numbers that tell the story. So I'm always paying attention to the numbers. I can tell when we're headed this way, and I can tell when we're headed that way. And it's usually so I handle the KPIs, I handle all the training, and that's, you know, the whole operation, just overseeing the operation.
Love it. I love dialing in.
You mind to kind of break it down as far as how many hours you're spending to make a deal? You know that?
Yeah, so right now, honestly, I don't even have it in front of me right now, but I would say my cost per lead is what he's asking.
Did you say
Well,
how many
no, not cost per lead,
hours?
but like
You said
time investment.
Oh, time.
time?
Oh,
that's-
that.
No, we don't have,
I don't have that answer.
no, we don't have an answer
We
to that.
average in about 5 deals a month, and we work every day, no days
Mhm.
off. I mean, except when we're on vacation and Sundays, but we
Right.
we work every day, my friend.
Yeah, I think the answer to that is you do have a job that you're working,
Yeah, I see what you're
right?
saying,
And so it's
yeah.
like this for us,
Mhm.
like is it like this is all we have,
It's our
right?
job,
So
it's
we
what we
put
wake up.
our whole day there. We're doing this every
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess there's no good, we can't provide you with that answer because we're not really divvying up the time. There was a point in time where I was working and Rob was fully just handling the investing,
Everything.
the cold calling, everything on his own.
Going to the appointments, everything.
Right.
Myself.
And then eventually I came out of my 9 to 5 and then came on to the team with him to help him out. So it's really not, we don't have a schedule for you with
Yeah.
that.
It's a really hard question to answer because there's so many variables I think in that too, and really to normalize like a time per deal, it's unless you're doing 50 deals, like the variance could be crazy where it's not going to be a relevant time anyways. I would say that the best thing I would tell someone in that case, like let's say you're driving for dollars. Goal one, identify how many properties you need to probably get a deal in your market. Again, all markets are up right now, given how competitive it is. So the goal should really be like, can we get 500 or 1,000 leads? Ideally, let's say we're starting out on our basic or pro plans, or just if you're driving for dollars for yourself, skip tracing and calling all those. And so your goal while driving, I think, is reasonably somewhere in the, if you're taking pictures of every single property and you're gonna do direct mail, 15 to 20 per hour. I think if you're just pinning the property for the purpose of skip tracing later on, you can probably get 40 to 45 an hour. I think I've done as many as 73. I think that's a really high number, but it's possible. And so then you can break it down. It's like, hey, you need to get 15 to 25 hours of drive time in, and then you need to skip trace all of them, and then you need to go cold call. And so your cold calling process is also going to take a significant amount of time. And so that's how I would start looking at it. I mean, really, you're probably looking at ideally 20 hours a week commitment early on to start seeing, I think, the outcome and trying to, I mean, obviously it's difficult overlaying that to a business or a regular day-to-day job, but that's how I would go about looking at it. If you didn't want to do the cold calling, you could also switch to direct mail to try to do just inbound. Your cost per lead is going to go up, but if you're busy already with work, that might be a better way to get to people to have those conversations with.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming on. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis. All right, looks like we got Alfred in here.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We got you. Can't see you.
Yeah, I have bad lighting, so I decided to turn off the camera. But thank you to the panelists for coming on board. This is great information and for sharing that with us. My question is, if you could take time and take a snapshot of yourself 16, 20 years ago, and as you're starting, your real estate investing career, what would you do differently, or what would you change?
Good question. Oh, that's a good. I have a answer for it too. But I'm just trying to see how.
Just pick one, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what I would do. I would, because remember, I started off with my first property. I flipped. Well, no, I'm sorry. I actually held it for a while.
Mhm.
But what I will say is this: I would watch as to being so lenient towards bringing in certain people into my circle. Man, sometimes we rely on family and certain friends, and you think that those people, because they're family, they're going to have your back, right? They're going to have your best interests at heart. But man, sometimes, man, I've learned, and unfortunately, I've learned that it be your family, sometimes, and close friends,
Hindrance.
that be the
Your greatest hindrance.
well, yeah, your greatest hindrance. You know what I mean? So I was trying to bring everybody, because I'm the type person, I'm a giver. You know what I mean? I used to say, like, I give how I live, and I've always been a giver, but me having that giving heart and that giving spirit hurt me in a lot of ways, man. So just watch who you bring into your circle is what I would say.
And for me, Yeah, and for me, just looking back, I would say that I wish we would have gotten into it a lot sooner. Um, I would say that for sure because I think we would be in another space right now if we
Mm.
would have gotten into
Yeah.
real estate, wholesaling, investing a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Because now it's not impossible now, but like with all of the information available on YouTube, and there's a star born every day. Somebody has a coaching program every day. Somebody's got some
Yeah.
information to give to you,
Yeah.
and it's like it keeps also born. I'm saying an investor is born every day. And so back then, it was a time where a lot of people didn't know about the business. And I think that if we known then what we know now, we probably will be on our way to retirement.
Yeah. That's
Or
facts.
honestly.
That's real good, bro. That's good. That's good. That's real good. And even when we was wholesaling, but didn't even know it was wholesaling because we had a client who basically gave us a whole list of properties, and we took those properties and then added our fees to the top. But back then, it wasn't even called wholesaling that we knew of anyway. It took for us to get here and be that person on the other side of the table, right? Acting as an agent and saying, wait a minute, what's this fee on here, right? What's this fee on this HUD sheet? When this itemized, on this line saying this guy getting $15,000 and I'm getting five. You see what I'm saying?
And
why
I
is
brought the
who is this
buyer.
guy? I did everything. I did all the paperwork. I bought tires. This is 15 and I'm only getting 5. And that's when the bells started to go off, my friend. So yeah, man, that's what I would be doing. If I knew what I knew, then what I know now, I would have been doing so much more research and so much more studying. And literally everything I would get from, like you said, it's a bunch of stuff out there on YouTube and things like that. Go out there and implement it.
That's
Literally,
great.
put it to work.
Focus,
Put it to work, man.
focus on one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Don't
I
let
wish
a
we would
shiny
just focus
object
on that
on-
one thing. Exactly.
Yeah, that
exactly.
shiny
Focus
object
just
syndrome.
on the goal, like investing, getting properties and having conversations with sellers.
That's good because you know what? Let me say this because what we do in this industry, right, is we comparing ourselves amongst each other, right? And what happens is you see that this person is here, and you automatically think that, oh well, I've been at this for 6 months or a year and I haven't got my this, and you even you hearing now us, it can sometimes put you in that place of like, man, like I'm failing. Like, what's going on? Why did it work for them, but it's not working for me, right? Like,
Right.
how did they get that $30,000 deal? But I'm making calls too, just as Rob was saying he was making calls. I'm making calls too. Where's my $30,000 deal?
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Listen, my friend, we all been there, man. Every president, every soldier, every investor, every wholesaler, to that point to where you start to want to give up. You want to just quit.
Mhm.
And whatever you do, don't quit, my friend. Just keep going, man. I guarantee you, it may not even be 30. But I'm gonna tell you, $5,000, like she said about those $5,000 checks I used to get as a real estate agent. Those $5,000 checks was like $30,000 to me when I was living in that hotel.
Mhm.
You follow what I'm saying? Those $1,000 checks, like $1,000 checks when I was broke. So
Right.
yeah, man, that's my answer. That's why I said I had so many answers, man. But that was good, man.
Yeah, you have to
That was
focus,
good.
man. Don't get it. Gotta stay consistent.
Focus.
We said that the
Stay
last
consistent.
one.
Yeah,
Like it's like the
consistency is
last
the key.
webinar. You have to keep going. You can't keep picking it up and putting it down and an
Yeah.
hour here, an hour there. Maybe I'll drive today, maybe I won't drive, maybe. I mean, in anything you do, like that's insanity.
Yeah, it's like you working out.
Yeah, you have to. It's insanity to think that, I'm just gonna put in this little bit of work and get these great results.
Exactly.
It's just that's just with anything in life.
Yeah, like exercising, right? You can't go to the gym only one day a week for an hour and expect to be this in shape, muscular looking man. You see what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
have to do it consistently, man. So yeah,
That's great.
answer, friend.
That's great. And I think for me, it's since I'm a new investor, taking those small steps every day helps me to feel like I'm, accomplishing things. So if I'm able to speak with someone in the industry, if I'm able to jump into a Zoom meeting and learn, that's an accomplishment. And then just piggyback on those every day and try to build on that. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, continue to surround yourself with like-minded people, just like what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
That's
you're doing
good.
it right
Good
now.
stuff. Good
You're
stuff.
doing it right now, my friend. Keep
Yeah.
up the good work.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
Thanks, Alfred. All right, looks Nick Newstrom is already here. He's probably like, man, he just messed up my name.
No, that was perfect.
All right, I killed it. I had all the confidence in the world.
Well, Rock, and I wanted to hop on today because I saw your story on the notification, and man, in a hotel room with 4 kids, I cannot imagine. You guys are toughies, and that's awesome. Congratulations. I mean, it's seriously a really cool story.
Oh man,
Thank
appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate it.
Well, hey, I'm in Kansas City, and for us, we're having a pretty hot market. It's been, I mean, I think a lot of the centrally located metropolitan areas in the Midwest are doing pretty well after the pandemic. But our real estate market's crazy, and I assume Atlanta is the same. Around here, we're having, I mean, most of the wholesalers and investors I'm talking to, I mean, deals are harder to come by just because demand has been so high. And I'm curious if you guys have seen that over the last 6 months in your business at all, or?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So it's been tougher?
Sellers is definitely wanting more, my friend. They're wanting more. I see this year implementing a lot of creative financing. See, we added twos to our tool belt. So now we're doing, you know, those deals that's too high. We would used to want to, we would say, well, look, we can list them for you or refer them out to a listing agent. Now we can give them retail price. You know, they're willing to give us terms on that deal. So now we're buying properties subject to, you know, we're buying properties, we're doing assumptions. In fact, we did a whole video with Elise showing how we did this assumption deal from start to finish. And just deals like that, we kicked off the year with that. So we're just doing a lot more creative financing, man, because the numbers are definitely getting tight and sellers are not, they are definitely on point. They know that we're in a hot market. They know that we're in a full-blown seller's market. So they want their money.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree. I go to a lot of masterminds across the country that we're in as DealMachine. We work with a lot of people in masterminds, and it's the challenge everyone's having. Competition's up. The market's just buying hot. So sellers are like, I'm going to throw this on the market and sell it quick anyways. So you need to solve a problem for me. And if you can't solve that problem, like, I'm going to go find someone that's just going to be money on the other side of the table for a deal to come in. I think, to what Rob said, having other tools in your belt to work the deal differently is really key, because that cash offer just might not make sense. It might be a creative deal with seller financing and maybe owner finance on the back end for you to like assign it to somebody or owner finance it out and work the deal that way. It could be getting an agent's license and being able to get listing deals and at least getting the doubles when you can. When someone's like, you know what, I just need to list it, great, we're that solution too. Or even if you're just going to refer it to somebody else as an agent, then you can collect a commission above board instead of having to go under the table there. So the biggest thing I'll say is figuring out those creative disposition elements seems to be a big theme for all of the best investors that I talk to, because they have to figure out how to get to those price points that sellers can realistically expect on market, and we need to be that solution for them.
Great, that's super helpful, and I do need to dig into that and learn that game a lot better than I do. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, Nick.
All right, we got William is going to close out the live, but I want everyone to know y'all have great questions and I want them to be answered by this wonderful couple. So I've got them here and we're going to do a lightning round here in a minute where I'm just going to shoot them all off so that as many as I possibly can, because I want you guys to get the most out of this. But William, can you hear me? You have 2 accounts on your 2, so I want to make sure I get the right one on here.
Got the second one in. Let's see.
Yep. I'm going to ask to unmute both of them and we'll see. William. All right. Or I may just start the lightning round now.
All right. Oh, it looks like he unmuted one.
Ah.
Or
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, we got
William.
Yeah, I posed a question in the app here, and now I'm trying to see how I worded it.
I can, if you want, William, I got it written down if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm at
No,
my son's wrestling practice. So I'm in the car.
Oh man, you are committed, my friend.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
in the
for
car. All right. William asked, how do you pay your drivers? And I thought this was a super good one because a lot of people ask this question. So Rob and Catherine.
Yeah. $50 an hour. We pay them bonuses. For every deal that we get a hit on, we pay them bonuses.
Okay. Like a percentage of the assignment, essentially.
This is a flat fee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
It was a flat fee.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yeah, I would add to that. 100% agree with the flat fee, especially if you're doing an hourly. You don't need to do a percentage. An hourly is already a fair wage for that work. I would also point out if you, for some reason, you don't want to try to pay on the front end, that's where I think a percentage makes more sense. If someone's taking on the risk of spending their time and not getting paid, that's where a percentage of an assignment fee makes more sense for someone like that. But if you're able to commit that hourly up front, two things. One, you're going to get more reliability in the drivers. They're actually going to show up to do that because it's their job. They're used to it. They're scheduling for it. And two, you're not going to have the driver churn that you experience with other payment structures, and the predictability that comes from that is enormous. And it's cheaper in the end too. You'll end up spending less to get people to add enough properties to get your deals by going hourly. Now, granted, that's a lot more commitment on the front end to get rolling, literally rolling. But it is. I think it's all how to pay drivers as you try to scale that part out is always a really big conversation for us too. So I'm glad that we were able to get that question in.
Thank you.
That's real good. Good question, friend.
All right, now I feel like I need something that's like lightning round. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna start getting these off. We've got Juanita who asked a good one. When you cold call your leads, what is the best time to call?
We found out between evenings are really good. Yeah, we really get a lot of answers during those times.
And plus we recycle our lists. So, and we have our cold callers work from, or our team works from 10 to 7. So we're also recycling lists. So they may have tried to call a list at, in the morning, and then our next VA calls in the evening, and they get them at the evening. They don't get them in the morning, they get them in the evening. So it all really just depends on, when they're willing to answer.
Yeah.
Like, but the evening for the most part has been been good.
Yeah, that's been good. Yeah.
I love that. When I cold called, I used to always do in the evening too. They'd either be really mad that it's like I'm interrupting their dinner, but you get their attention.
Yes, that's true.
All right, now Tamila had questions for her. How do you find the good hard money personal lenders that are legit?
We don't use any hard money at all.
All right, next one. What formula do you use to make an offer? Do you make offers over the phone or in person?
Both. Yeah, we make a lot of them over the phone, and we make offers on in person. It just depends on the client. With our virtual markets, of course, we make a lot of them over the phone.
How much do you balance? I think it really, so the first part of that is like, what formula do you use? And I think a lot of times people feel like the formula is overtaking the sales process of interacting with the seller and the negotiation back and forth. I think it's really key a lot of times, and I feel, to let them speak, let them come up with a number, and try to be interactive in that process. And I guess speak a little bit to that. Like, do you feel like it's, hey, here's the formula to offer and go follow that exactly? Or do you feel like there's some nuance to that interaction?
Oh man, that was on. Listen, you knocked that one out the park, Josh. I talk about that so much to my team. I'm like, look, we can't sound so robotic, right? You can't. It's not a one recipe type of here's the recipe, follow A through Z. It's gonna come out just right. It's not that with this. Every deal, and I mean every deal is different. You know, like I said, some people, it's very rare. You know my saying, I say this on every podcast, every webinar we did together. The power, guys, hear me, the power. This is what I do know. I know this for sure. The power is in the follow-ups. Hear me. The power is in the follow-ups. It's very rare that you're going to get that person on the phone for the first time and they're going to be like, here, you know, buy my house. You constantly have to call that person, text that person, more importantly, what person before with that person. People love to do deals with people that they can see themselves doing deals with, and more importantly, that they like.
100%. 75 to 80% of your deals are not going to be the first touch point. So anyone on this call who's doing this business right now, really, really think about this for yourself. Like, are you doing good follow-up? Because if you're not, you're probably doing about 25% of what you could be doing without anything else in the pipeline, without talking about new leads, new marketing channels, just the people that you talk to. By not following up, you're probably, if you don't think you're doing the best job that you can, you're probably missing out on 3 to 4x the amount of deals that you could be doing if you just continue to work those leads better.
Facts.
And we really don't like to waste time, and especially in this market right now, like we were just talking about, a lot of sellers are getting estimates, you know, from Zillow and Redfin, and they tell you, you know, well, Zillow says my property is worth $320,000, you know, so they're a little bit more informed, but it's not really good information that they're getting because Zillow's not really accurate, as accurate as an actual person who knows how to run comps and things like that is. So we really don't like to waste time. So as far as like going in person, making an offer or making it over the phone, we try to get the seller to give us their number and see if we can be like, see if like they're just way off, you know what I mean? Or maybe we can try to meet their number. But a lot of the time we don't like to give the offer right there over the phone. We like to try to schedule the appointment and get out to see and meet the seller and go from there.
And that just builds trust. Being how friendly you are. And okay, I had a couple of people asking this, but Brenton was the first one I saw. But people are asking if you guys offer mentorship or any type of I know we just talked about courses and stuff, but Brenton was wondering if you guys offer any type of mentorship.
You know what I reckon right now? Me and Catherine is cooking something up.
Send us your deals.
Not just that, but we want y'all. We do life with everybody. Like we've got one of the things we've learned. We've been on podcasts. We've been on a few different podcasts before. And you guys, community, DealMachine community, man. Listen, the people that comes from your community are. I'm not just saying this literally, man, because I'm in front of y'all, but they're phenomenal, right? And what we built, like I've literally met people from doing webinars and podcasts and things like this. But we're doing deals with these people.
Right.
You see what I mean? And what Catherine was saying was send me, you know, she's saying send me your deals. It's not send me like as in send me your deals. Like it's people that didn't know what to do with those deals.
Right.
And they connected with us and we showed them what to do with those deals that they would have thrown in the trash. They ended up making 10, 20, $15,000 off of, you know, by just being connected, right? So I said in our last webinar, at least with you and I, right? Like get link up with people like me and Catherine. We do life with our people. Like if y'all follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and Catherine and I, you would notice that we're real people. Like we do life with our people. We do life with y'all. So people pop up in our inboxes, and like Catherine posted earlier on the page, and she was like, we get a lot of questions in our inboxes and in our IG, and we're not able to like so we can answer the questions, because truth to the matter is, man, we really are givers. It's not all about the money. If I could be a blessing to you, and then, you know, I reach this one and that one can reach 10 and that 10 can reach 100, but my job was done. You know, not everybody on this podcast, right? Not everybody on this podcast is gonna, you know, take what we give and implement it, right? But if we could reach just one today to say, you know what, man, they inspired me. They came from this hotel room with 4 kids to where they at now. You know, oh man, look, I'm inspired. Then guess what? Our job was done. And that's really what it's about with us. You know, we really set out to come on these things to show people that in the day's world, the social media generation is this high-speed generation we live in, to where everybody's just, you know, balling, everybody is up. Nah, man, don't focus on all that, because that'll get you discouraged, that'll get you depressed, stressed. No, focus on get one deal, and like my man said earlier, link up with like-minded people like Elise, Josh, Rob, Catherine, that can throw you a, you know, bone here and there, man, and help you get that first deal off the ground and start rolling from there.
Yeah, like with me, it's more so not so much like send us your deals, right? But what I'm saying is that, you know, again, time is our time. We spent a lot of time, you know, getting this information. We spent years and years, blood, sweat, and tears getting this information. A lot of heartbreak, a lot of long nights, a lot of time just Rob and I just working, beating at our craft and studying. So what I'm saying is that everybody on here, obviously, we're all like-minded people, right? So what I mean by send us your deals is that we get a lot. We want to make sure that the people that we're giving that information to is serious about what they're doing this. Like there may be some deals that you couldn't close. You didn't know how to close them, that you could come and circle back around to Rob and I, that Rob and I can give you exit strategies. And then not only did you get to learn from that experience, but you also we all gain something out of that interaction with each other. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So what we're saying to you is, we're not saying buy our course. Yeah. We're not saying $19.99 or $99 and we're gonna give you the chemistry, the recipe to win. No, we're just saying, hey man, if you're serious about it, we want to make sure that you're serious. We get a lot of people that say, you know, I'm an investor, you know, and then when it's all said and done, you haven't even, you didn't even drive for 1 week. You had no deals uploaded into your DealMachine.
Yeah, let us.
So Rob and Catherine, show us, you know, Rob, put me on, like, we have to be serious. We're serious. We are all adults here. We got to be serious about what we're doing, and we have to learn that it's not always about what can I get from a person, but what can we give to each other to enhance each other's lives? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I meant about when I said send us your deals. Because yeah, we really do want to help you, but we want to make sure that the people that we do spend our hard-earned time in information with are serious about this information that we're ready to give to you. So that's all I was saying, guys.
Oh my gosh, seriously, every time I talk to y'all, it's just like I feel like I'm uplifted and I'm like, yes, we can all do this and we're gonna just be fantastic. And I just love it. Everyone, please, don't you love this couple? Like, they're fantastic. But I want to also throw this up really quick, because so many people have asked how, and your girl Rochelle's on here. She was like, I have to be on here to see my stars.
That's my girl. Girl. Only one missing from here is our football player, our tall boy. Yeah. If you watch our YouTubes and stuff like that, you will see him on there. He's the only one missing from this.
He's not on here.
Yeah. Well, didn't he have a birthday like a month ago or something like that?
He had a birthday.
I'm telling, they're not BS. They literally, you know, their family without. I've never met your children except for the other day in your car, but like, I feel like I know your family, and it makes my heart so happy.
We try to share as much as we can with them, because people need to know, man, young families are alive, well, and thriving. Okay. Yeah. Rob is home taking care of his kids. I'm taking care of my kids. And guess what? Family is cool. Being a mom and dad is cool. Okay. And we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna, you know, it's alive and well.
And that's why we always say, like Catherine talked on that, like our time, guys, our time is one of our most viable assets, because we can always make money money, right? We can
Yeah.
always make money. But we gotta get time back right here.
Yeah.
Don't always roll by the day. You see what I mean? And I'm not willing to sacrifice my time with them.
Yes.
I'm
Don't
not
take me
willing to
away from my
sacrifice that.
babies.
So that's why Catherine is saying, like, don't call playing. You know what I mean? Don't call us, you know, looking to play, because we're real, like we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. If
That's
you want
right.
to make some money with us, let's
Let's
make some
learn.
money
Let's
together.
eat
You know,
together.
let's do
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Time and peace. If it costs us our peace,
It's
it's
too
too expensive.
Josh, I know you're the main host here, but I just gotta say thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys spending this hour with us and with our community. And I'm sorry, guys, if you didn't get your questions answered or asked. Like they said, reach out to them. Just be respectful of their time. Know that you got to be, like they said, know that you got to be in this. Don't be committed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rob and Catherine. This is awesome. I'm inspired walking away from it. This is great. I'm so excited to have been able to just be a host with you guys. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
We always
We
enjoy
appreciate y'all, man.
these webinars. So thanks for
Always.
having us.
It's like getting back together with family, man. Real talk.
I know. Y'all really need to go check out their success story though, because Rob literally gave us, like, showed the paperwork of like everything broken down from their 6-figure deal. And it was amazing. So amazing. I lost my bell. Sorry, Rob, what were you saying?
No, we kicked off the year with that one. That, that was a 6-figure deal, and we broke it down and everything. That was a good video. I highly recommend it. Go check it out. Josh, are you the Josh that hooked us up with the that we spoke with? We're getting our enterprise plan.
It was. It might have been Josh. When was that, timeline wise? I forget honestly. We have a Josh Scott on the team as well. When was it?
I think it was Josh for sure, because he called me like maybe 3 years ago. Man,
That was me. Yeah, that was me.
That was him.
Yeah, that was.
Okay. Then you called back, and I was like, I'm ready, man. I was like, you don't even got to sell me. I was like, much money with the program. I was like, you don't even have to sell me. I was like, how much is it? And I was out shopping with Catherine at the time. We was out shopping. Remember?
Always on the phone when
And
we're
Marietta?
shopping. I can't take it. Always on the phone when we're shopping.
I was like, look, when I get home, I'm gonna give you the card number. It's done. It's done. Those are the best moves we made, man. We've been able to load up so many drivers. They had their own accounts, man. Dude, if y'all not on the enterprise, the enterprise portion of DealMachine, and different strokes for different folks, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a game changer. Yeah. It's a game changer. I know y'all probably look. We coming to the end of y'all probably depth, but it's a game changer. Find out about that enterprise, man.
I'm gonna drop a link in the chat if you're interested.
Love it. You guys are making my job easy all of a sudden.
I do want to be very. I want to be respectful of your guys' time. I know you have a family, so please, you can stick around. We're going to do a quick demo, but you are more than welcome to go and spend your time, your very precious time, with your family. So thank you guys again, and everyone who's on here. We're going to do a quick DealMachine demo. I'm going to set that up really quick. So 1 second.
Thank you again, guys. Yes.
Thank you guys. We're gonna go feed
y'all
these
have
boys.
a good evening.
Do it. They're probably eating a
You
lot.
too.
They look like they eat a lot.
Make sure you guys hit us up on our social media too. I know
Yeah.
you talked about it for a minute, Elise, and you put our information up there. Make sure you guys hit us up on our social media. We'll do what we can to get back and all that good stuff. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Guys too.
All right. See y'all later.
All right. I'm pumped. Pumped. All right, guys, we're going to do a quick demo. I actually have one question I already want to answer because Lazaro, their Instagram. AJ, can I have you drop their Instagram in there? Let me. So I'm just going to copy it right from my slide for y'all. There we go.
There we go.
All right, there we go. So I apologize, guys. I'm just getting up my thing here. Josh is gonna answer. Josh and AJ are gonna check questions while I do this demo really quick.
Mhm.
But there is a survey that goes after this. You got a webinar and, you know, improve upon. I'm trying to get just super valuable for you guys. Okay, let me share my screen.
As Elisa's pulling up, aspirationally, I know, like Rob and Catherine said, I do run our elite team and working with members who are on our higher tier platforms and plans. And Elise dropped in the link to chat about elite. I have a really awesome team. We are not salesy. We are super consultative. I challenge our team to always be as helpful as possible at all times. And so if you just want help giving yourselves a plan of attack to accomplish whatever the next 6-12 months looks like for your team, feel free to reach out through that form. I will make sure we're as helpful as we possibly can be to get you guys on the road to success, whatever plans that is, or even if it's not DealMachine related, whatever it is, that's the goal. So would love to help you guys.
All right, we're gonna dig in here. I promise, guys, I don't want to keep y'all here for the whole night. So I'm going to do a very high level demo. If there is anything that you would like to see specifically or go into a little bit deeper, please let us know in chat and I'll have Josh let me know. But first, we're going to just talk about, we have our driving for dollars plan, which you guys heard a lot from Catherine and Rob. So it is the lowest cost leads with the greatest ROI. Now with that, you have to put in a lot of time. Like you heard, their drivers are putting in 100 each per day to get them to their, you know, 5 deals a month. So it is putting a lot in there. And you have the greatest ROI. So you have a mobile map, you get real-time driving routes on our professional and elite plans. You get to recruit and manage drivers on that elite plan that Josh talked about. And we have smart property filters, which I'll show you guys now. But you build this unique list of properties. And I was actually talking to someone the other day asking me, like, why on earth would I go driving for dollars? And it's because no, it's not going to be on a list that someone pulls. These are properties that are going to have, you're going to know even more, you know, pain points with the distress level and everything. So we're going to hop into my profile real quick. I'm going to show you guys high level. This is the elite dashboard, your dashboard on the actual on our professional or starter plan are going to look a little different, but this is a way that you can see where your, you know, where your goals are that and what work you need to put forth to do it. It'll tell you how many leads you've added, all this breakdown in analytics. But then we go into the map. So this is part of the driving for dollars. It looks a little different on mobile, but you get to be in your area. You see, these are my routes here that I've driven. Green means that I've driven it within the last 6 months. Yellow means that it's 12, and then I have some red on here, and that means that it's been over 12 months. So one thing that we saw were smart, you know, highlights and stuff like that, filters that were mentioned for this. So you can actually highlight properties. So say I want to look at vacant properties in my area, I can apply this. And what it's going to do is it's going to highlight all the properties in my area. And you're probably like, well, why would I want to do that? You know, if I'm trying not to build a list. Well, this is a way that you can actually go see if you want to actually add it. Because if it's not distressed and maybe sold over a certain time period, like they're not going to want to sell it. But you can actually go and say, okay, there's a lot of vacant houses in this area. I'm going to see if they're distressed, see if I want to add them into my list. So then I can target those. We do have planned routes that you guys can do on professional and elite plan. Soon you'll be able to assign your routes on the elite plan to your drivers. So you have and say, hey, this has a lot of distress on it, or maybe even do some door knocking. I know that's become very popular. And it's getting people deals because they're talking to the people or talking to the neighbors. Just like Catherine was saying, that neighbor came out and was like, hey, I know the owners, sell this house because it looks very rundown. I have a couple in my neighborhood I'm trying to get to. So anyways, this is the map mode. So how to add a property really quick. You would be driving and these would be little black dots. I've added all of these. That's why they have the little green houses, but you'd tap on them. You'd get the basic owner info. You can skip trace them right there. You can see all the information pulled from county. Here's actually the county link as well if you wanted to review that. And then you can go through and you can tag a property. I won't go into all of that again, but tag is another way you can document what kind of property details, like tall grass, you know, mailbox full, fire damage, things like that. So that that's another way that you can filter leads through if you wanted to do a specific campaign or things like that. All right. So going back to here, I wanted to go over our list builder. So list builder it's faster leads, but it requires more marketing. So because you're pulling all these leads, you know, that everyone else can pull, you are going to have to hit them harder with marketing, and it's going to cost a little bit more, but it is a faster way of getting your leads, because driving for dollars, as we know, takes time. You know, Josh was talking about how it took him 78 leads, you know, in an hour, and that was really good. And with a list, you can just pull willy-nilly and pull that within a couple of seconds to a minute. So it does require more money, but it so you get advanced filtering and searching, you get smart lists, which I'll go over, drawn map lists, and pre-foreclosure and more. So going into that, we have the list tab here. Now, even if you don't have our list plan, your list that you create organically will show up here as well, so that you can look at it. But to build a list, you go in here, you can go by zip code, you can go by city, you can draw an area, and that's what that custom drawing was. So let's say that I'm out and I'm just like, you know what, I just want to go from this block over here. I'm just going to draw it out. Whoa, I zoomed out a lot. And then you can do a custom list. So here I can go to all those points that I want. I personally I could do absentee owner, is vacant, and then I always try to go over at least 3 years, but I usually do 5. So I see that there's 68 leads down here that are going to get pulled. Use the option to turn on this thing called Smart List. And what this is that every Monday we update our data to, you know, take things out of this list that don't match these filters. So let's say that it's not vacant anymore and it gets, you know, marked as not vacant. That's going to go ahead and take that one out, and anything that is marked new will be put into this list automatically. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to edit it. It's all right there. And then you just submit it. And then up here, you'll get to see where it's building it. You can check the progress of it. And there's a breakdown. So this is what I'm saying, even if you have an organic list, this is really great because you can see everything. Pending approval means you haven't started marketing to them yet. But you can see a breakdown and really get some good KPIs on, like, okay, how many mailers did I send out to this list and how many deals came out of it? You can just break down so many, you know, special points here. Know anything. But this I find really helpful, especially when you're trying to figure out what lists have worked best for you, if that's what you're looking for. You can actually even compare your driving for dollars leads compared to your list pulling leads to see how much mail you've sent, how many mailers you sent out, how long it took, how many leads were, or deals were generated from those lists. So going into more things, we have all plans that include, you can get the real estate data. So like I showed you, you get county records, mortgage balances, pre-foreclosures, vacancies, skip tracing. So we have really ramped up our skip tracing. So dig deeper to find the property owner phone numbers and contact info. You guys, I love our skip tracing now. I'll tell you, you know, give it a year ago, we did not have it as robust as it is now. So if you haven't tried our skip tracing in a while, highly recommend. You go here, my list. This is where all my properties are kept, whether they're driving for dollars or list pulling, and I can separate them out through this. But let's say I wanted to skip trace this lead. Okay, I skip trace it. It's going to come up with either multiple addresses. So say you get a returned postcard and you're like, what do I do with this? Skip trace them. See if there's another address you can send it to. This came back with 4 phone numbers, and I wanted you guys to see this. So then once we skip trace, we run it through another filter that shows, okay, this is connected, T-Mobile, Texas. Let's see. I want to compare this to the address. So his address is in Texas. So I would bet you anything That's a real phone number. This is another one connected. This one's disconnected in a landline. So I'm not going to try that one because obviously it's disconnected. And this one's also disconnected. So I don't even have to worry about trying these. I will try these because it matches up with information I already have. Ooh, 28% equity. Hey, all right. Anyways, then I have the email addresses. So here, even more time saved, says risky, may not be deliverable, unknown, and this one's undeliverable. So this one I would put money on will actually get me, well, at least get through. And then what do? Follow up, follow up. All right. Also wanted to show you guys while we're here, I wanted to go back to this, direct marketing. So we have a very robust marketing system. I'm actually going to hold on to that for a minute. I want to go back to this. We have a comps tool. I wanted to show you guys this so that way, if you're wondering if you're going to Zillow to pull comps and everything, you definitely can do that, or you can do it right here. You can filter it by, you know, property sold between this date and this date. And they'll actually pull the comps for you, so that way you can get the ARV and get that for when you're actually going to a property, and you can put those numbers for the potential sell. That is an add-on that's $20 extra a month. All right, now I'm going to go into the mail. So our mailers, this is our robust mailing system. We have simple and advanced campaigns. Simple campaigns is basically repeat marketing of the same postcard. You can customize those. You'll see here, we have the design feature here. So you can do 4x6, 6x9, 6x11, and also our handwritten ballpoint letters. And these are all customizable. You can literally start one from scratch. You can obviously tell I really like our blocks template that we already have. I think it's really great. And then once you go in these, you can actually edit your signature as well and add a picture of yourself. So I heard a member here where I made it into a QR with their QR code with their logo. But if I wanted to edit that or change it, I can change it to these signatures, which are available on our elite plan. You can have multiple signatures. So say you're in different markets, maybe you, you know, want to have different signatures for those. So that way they call a different number. That's a local number. That's a circumstance of when you would probably want multiple signatures for your postcards. Then in the campaigns, you'll be able to make a sequential mail campaign. It'll show you here what your marketing budget is for that. So total mailers sent for this is 205. It'll tell me the next time they're able to send out. I can see the steps for this. So this one is repeating, and then workflow. So I can go in here and change things when a campaign starts, resumes for a lead, change the status to this. So this way it really customizes the experience. So know it means, and you can leave these as we set them, but if you want to make your system different, you are more than welcome to here. Last thing on this page is the mailer queue. So right here, it'll show you what's being sent next. And then also if there's any mailer issues, maybe you got an email saying that some mailers were stuck in the queue, you can go in here and you can see those issues here. Couple of things that I also wanted to show you guys that are in these plans. Tasks. These are things that you can assign to yourself. You can create a task to maybe call someone back. So as you're calling through your list, you can add a task for some, you know, to follow up after so many days. And you can do this for your team as well. Maybe you want them to, you know, go through this list, or, you know, double check these properties, things like that. And then driving for dollars plan, you can track your routes here. You can see your drivers here. You can recruit drivers, which is what Catherine and Rob have access to. There's our man Josh right here. We have some default videos in there for you, but this is actually a training portal for them to go through. So you don't have to train them every time. So you get your own landing page. I've had guys, I've literally helped them make QR codes of their landing page and just had them on cards to give to Uber drivers and say, hey, if you want to drive for me, you know, scan this code. They go to this landing page, they go through the training portal, they sign up, you know, and you get your own automated welcome email after that as well. All right, just a couple of last things. I've had a couple of people ask me if you get a referral code. Get Free Leads is your personal referral code. You sign up. If you want to sign up, we actually have a promo for this webinar, AJ will in the chat, that you'll actually get 20 free deal credits. But if you're wanting to, or $20 worth of credit to your account, but this is your own personal referral code that you can give to friends or people that you think might want to join. And then selling is an awesome new feature that we have. We actually just did a reel about it if you wanted to look at that, but you can you can have your own sales page live. So say I have this property under contract, I can actually go ahead and see this and send this out to my buyers list and say, hey, I have this property under contract. If you're interested in looking at it, here you go. And you can customize this to send out to them, and then they actually can fill out the form on that. So there's that, and they can just fill out their information here. Then I go back to my account, I can see how many people have looked at it, how many people have submitted, and then I can go to my message and see the list of contacts through that. Amazing, right? I mean, I know I'm a little biased, but I think it's pretty amazing. Last thing, second to last thing I want to send you guys is settings. So this is where you can see your plans and add-ons. So those add-ons I was talking about, you can get them here. Your property tags you can manage, you can make custom ones. You can make it so that you disable some of them that maybe you don't want to see. You can use dark mode. Street Pick is an add-on that we have where you actually get the Google Street image populated onto the lead. So this is for if you're doing any virtual driving for dollars, or maybe you just want it as a backup just in case one of your drivers doesn't add a picture, but you want a picture on the postcard. This is really great. I have it turned on so that way, if there is something without a picture, it automatically populates Street Pick. And even if you're not sending out mail marketing, it's so nice to have a picture of the property to reference, especially when the person calls you back. That has helped me a lot. And then here on the map page, when the app starts up, maybe it goes to your dashboard and you'd rather it be on your map, you can go ahead and customize that here as well. Two last things, request feature. You think that we need to add something, go to this. Our man Nate looks at this and he definitely hears you guys out. He might even reach out and ask you more about what you think. So go ahead and look at that. We actually created a lot of this stuff, actually most of it from feature requests. So go ahead and put your stuff there. And then last but not least, our wonderful support staff, which our wonderful man AJ here, who's been helping you guys in chat, actually manages our team of 10 support staff. They're awesome. We love them. They're here to help you from, AJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 8 a.m. to midnight. Yep. Okay, I got that. Instructional videos, our YouTube channel, definitely helpful. And live training. So Dakota is our live member training, is Tuesday, Friday on all these things. You get to talk to him in person. You don't have to go through a chat. You can actually turn on your camera and like talk to him and ask him questions. And he's there to help you and give you that one-on-one support. And we love it. Also updates here. Okay. I know that I'm trying to make sure that I do it very high level. If there's anything in depth you guys want me to go into, let me know. Josh, is there anything specific?
We are tackling a lot of kind of plan type questions and things like that. So nothing was sticking out directly to me. I think you went over adding drivers and getting people recruited. If anyone had specific questions, definitely a good time to ask, like Elise said in here. Actually, Kareem had a good question a little bit earlier. I don't know, I hope he's still here. He said, is there a CRM in the software, or is there something good to use side by side? And I think that's a really good question. And Elise, if you want to kind of talk about how people use us to replace what they view as a more traditional CRM. Largely, a lot of wholesalers who are working between 1 to 3 people, 2 to 3 deals a month, and even more than that in terms of deals a month. They're using us to do everything from finding the leads, filtering and targeting them, running their marketing processes, taking notes. I don't know if we ran through notes or tasks or anything like that, but if we could show a couple of those things if we haven't. Apologize if we had to. I was in the questions really focused there.
No, that's good. I showed tasks, but I didn't show notes. Josh actually just did a wonderful video with me about that as well. If you ever want to review it, he did a whole thing about strategizing and what you should be putting in notes. But I will say to that, if you guys look up Ryan Haywood on Instagram, he's on our Instagram. He uses us for everything, everything. And I'll show you kind of what he does with this. So
he did, to clarify too, in 1 year from going from nothing to just wholesaling using DealMachine to run every part of the process, close deals, pipeline, active follow-up, reminders, tasks, closed like, what was it, 72 deals?
It was a lot. And now, and I can't even keep count anymore because he closes at least like, I don't know, 5 to I don't know how many deals a month. But yeah, he uses us for everything. And we actually learn a ton from you guys too, because we have our way of what we would suggest, but you guys can customize this to run the way you would like. And I know someone just asked me how to export leads. So real quick, I'm going to show you how you actually bulk edit and can bulk do actions. And this is a really good way of, how to scale your business. So you guys can filter through things. Go ahead.
So you were talking about customizing how like leads flow through DealMachine, and just your workflows and your processes. This is a super early like.
I knew you were gonna do it.
It's too cool. It's like an October thing for us guys. Like Q4, early Q4 probably. We have an absolutely astonishing update coming in the next few months.
You're hearing it here first because Josh can't hold it in.
It's too much. Like, I'm just so excited right now. Like the amount of workflows and automations that you're going to be able to build into DealMachine to run the entirety of your sales follow-up processes, for emails, for eventually text probably won't launch initially, but in terms of leads hitting your marketing, a custom workflow attached to them, data flowing into or out of DealMachine to wherever you need to with your own API and developer connections, similar to what you do with Zapier with a lot of the apps that you guys are probably using today. If-then statements, and really just automating significant portions of your business will happen inside of DealMachine, and it is going to be incredible. I'm so excited for it. Just keep an eye out for it because it's going to completely change the way that you can run and build your business on DealMachine. That's all. That's all I can.
Your first, folks.
we got some. We're testing.
Yeah, we're testing things out. You saw the little baby version of workflows just within campaigns. That's just like the baby version. It's not even like what it's going to be.
Super baby
but
version.
To show you. Super baby version. Yes. Okay, so to do some bulk edits and actions in here, and I saw that someone asked if we were having a dialer, so don't let me forget to talk about integrations. Don't let me. So say I filtered through or I'm getting a certain list, I can go ahead and select this and maybe select all 20,000 leads and edit them all. But what I can do from this is I can skip trace all of them in one fell swoop. I can change the status of them. I can go ahead and add them to another list. Drive leads is now in here too for elite members. So you can actually go ahead and it'll combine that into a task for one of your drivers to go ahead and drive. And this is where you'll also export leads. I forget who asked that on here, but this is where you export leads. You can pause your campaign. You can end certain campaigns. This is how you can make some really bulk actions here. You see this import list here. If you have leads that you already had, sitting around and you want to import them in here to get them on a marketing campaign. So that way you make sure that you're not sending doubles to these people. You can import a list here. One thing I wanted to talk about, Joe. Okay, Joe. Did that help? Also, I wanted to say that integration, somebody asked if we had a dialer. We don't yet. That is something that's on down the road. I know AJ just mentioned that too, but something you can do if you're using like Mojo Dialer right now, go use Zapier. Zapier is awesome. I actually use Zapier for some things too, but what it is, and there's a video that I have out there about it. But you'll be able to take the lead in there, have a trigger for it, something triggers it, and it sends the lead into your dialer. So let's say the trigger is you skip trace it. So once it's skip traced, it goes into your Mojo dialer with the number, with all the information. It's really simple. But if you guys would like another video on it, we can do that. There's uploading list.
I would add to that, though, our workflows, the reason our workflows that we're coming out with in a few months now, we'll do that for you. You won't need Zapier. You'll just be able to say, send this to Mojo when this happens.
Right. But if you want to do that beforehand,
yeah, you're right.
you can use Zapier. He's so excited, you guys. And we're so excited about it. But just so you guys know that will be coming. But if you want to get a head start on just kind of figuring out how workflows go too, if you're not very familiar with them or how they work or different triggers and stuff like that, maybe you start already planning out how you want to do that. But Zapier will help because you want to take massive action now. And so get it in there, make your life, save your time and set those up.
I'll say this with automations and Zapier, when we have stuff too, automate the stuff that you know you're going to be repeating frequently with regularity. I see a lot of times people get really excited about automations. I've been guilty of this myself. And I try to automate everything before I really know what that process is. You really shouldn't be worried about automations until you know explicitly what you're automating, because then that's when it will add value. If you don't know for sure, chances are you might automate the wrong thing or mess something up and have to go redo it all anyways. So that's a really important note for me, is I think a lot of times people get too aggressive on automation before they know what they even want to automate.
Agreed. Definitely don't get wrapped up in processes too much, because you can easily go down a rabbit hole and you need to just be closing deals too. Anything else that I missed, or any questions?
I think that's all the ones I'm seeing in here. We still have about 83 people here. Are there any final questions that we can help with for anybody? We're here for a couple more minutes and just want to make sure you're stepping away from this with all the information that you guys need to be as successful as you can.
I'm going to put up our last slide so you guys say you contact us. So one moment. Put this up here. I tried to get music playing for you guys and it didn't work, so I apologize. But here is all the places you can follow us.
Bum, bum, bum. My name's again Josh Johnson. Josh at DealMachine is my email. So if you need to email me, give me an email and I will either respond directly, get you to the right resource, whatever that is as well.
I usually respond really well through our Instagram DMs. I'm on there most of the time. Some of my team does as well, but we can also help you there too. But also, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I see a few questions coming in that you were made. Anyways, so Jody asked if we have text blast. We don't have text blast. We actually had texting. We took it away because of the ambiguity in the industry right now. And we just, between what's not necessarily legal, but capable for the providers to send out, we decided to stay on the sidelines of texting until there's a little bit more clarity on how to go about doing that. What we're most likely to do when we bring it back is to bring it back as a part of sales workflows so that you can text people in your active sales pipeline because they'll have volunteered for that ability to connect with them via text. And that'll probably be version 1, and then we'll see long term. We're tracking it closely. We know it's important. We don't want to overdo it in a way that just puts our members at danger. When using the picture of the property for the postcard, how to check is the correct one if uploaded directly to from the Driving for Dollars app. So there's like I forget, I think on the page of all the images, let's say you took 5 images of a property. The one that is actually used on postcards is, I believe it's a blue outline, correct, in that view?
Yeah, so it'll say, it'll be the clearer picture and it'll say the main picture, like primary image. for that. And the primary image will be on the postcard. The rest of them will be a little grayed out, but they'll still be there. So that's a great question. And you can actually always preview it too, if you need to double check to make sure that you have the right one.
Absolutely. Corey, you've got a lead that you need to change campaign on by giving you an error. I could see an error in mail queue potentially, or potentially maybe it's a bug. It's probably a mail queue area, I'd guess. Either way, AJ, I don't know if you reached out to Corey already, but make sure we reach out to Corey and see what we can do to get that addressed. And
Yep.
looking forward. What was that?
Awesome. He's got someone reaching out to him.
Oh,
Yep.
awesome. So is PropStream necessary with DealMachine? I'd like to think not. We do driving for dollars better than anyone in the space. We're definitely the lead innovator in that. And really our goal is to streamline every part of the real estate business with really great elite applications that you don't have to compromise on quality to still get them in one spot. And so there are different plans for list building, for driving for dollars, and they will be different plans to purchase and everything, but they work together. They're uber strategically intertwined into the same interface and the same experience. And the level of attention that we put towards that is mind-boggling. I probably a couple $100 hours a week worth of time across all of our team internally to make sure what we're doing is working together, making your lives easier. And part of that's getting your feedback along the way. And so we do everything that PropStream does. There's some data points that they don't have that they have that we don't at the moment. That'll be changing over time for sure, with something we're addressing. And we even have comps, which I know is another big thing that some people for a long time mentioned that they have that we didn't, and we have comps now as well. So would love to think that you don't need PropStream to also whenever you use all the things that DealMachine has to offer. But our goal is just to be the best at what we are and what we do. And so it's your job to decide what works best for your business, but we're here to help, and hopefully that becomes DealMachine.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys again for joining us today. So happy to have you all on here. And I'm going to give a really cool outro video, but as always, happy deal finding. Josh is typing.
I'm talking to Joe. Joe, we don't have live driver views, so you're not going to see, hey, there's my 4 drivers out in the field on the map and the car move around. But retroactively, you'll be able to see when they close the route that they're on. That route will then appear on the map, and so you'll be able to see where they drove and see the summary of that route in particular under the driving section. Awesome.
All right.
Happy deal finding. I got it in too.